Greetings, welcome back to another cup of conversation with me, Nidra Simmons, and perhaps some food for thought. I want to have a conversation about micromanagement. Do you like to be micromanaged? If that question is presented to me, no to the no to the no, no, no. Micromanagement, or if someone is micromanaging me, I don't like it because I get off track. I lose focus of what I intend on doing. Is what, I can set out and be prepared to see ahead exactly what I want to do. And if I'm being micromanaged, then I can't do things the way that I want to do it. I'm forced to do things the way that you want to do it. So if your answer was the same with me, you don't like to be micromanaged, why do we do that with God, Mother, Father, Universe? Why do we try to micromanage what they do for us or what is being done for us? There is this thing called God's timing, and it's called God's timing on purpose because it's not your timing. So if you're expecting something to happen, you can't keep checking in.
In half a mile, turn left onto North Carolina 903 South.
That just gave a whole location. But anyway, you don't, that took off my train of thought too, but we was talking about micromanagement. You don't want to micromanage God because, God's timing. It's called God.
At the stop sign, turn left onto North Carolina 903 South.
So we want to make sure that we're not micromanaging God and the spirit team that he placed on us. And that's also something that's easier said than done, because a lot of us do things to people but don't like those things to be done to us. And that's just how I guess we are built or made.
Continue on North Carolina 903 South for 3 miles.
And I don't know if y'all can hear that sound. I hope y'all can hear that sound of it. But anyway, I have my GPS on. But and it's throwing me off. Distractions. That's another thing I want to talk about too. So I guess that's what it's doing. I find myself often saying to you guys on the post to stay focused. Stay focused so that you don't get caught up in these distractions. Because if you already know the plan that God has for you, or the destiny and direction in which you need to go because God had told you, and he told you so that you know where you're going. You're going to have all these distractions. Other people, they can't figure out why you're doing what you're doing, or you got those that have these control issues. If you're not doing things the way that they say do it, it's going to throw you off of your path. It's going to try to discourage you or confuse you, or even put doubt in your mind of where you are supposed to go. So don't let these distractions get the better of you. Stay focused and aligned. But I think focus is a little bit better to understand, because alignment is, I think, in more detail, starts from the inside. And I'm thinking about the spine, how it's aligned so that it can function properly in our body. But you need to stay focused and don't let the outside noise take you off of your track. I gave this example when a train is on a track. And I gave this example to 5-year-olds because I was trying to prove a point. And I figured they can understand it better. I gave them a visual, verbally. But anyway, if a train is on a track, if it gets off the track, it's not going to go straight anymore. It's connected. So once you derail off of your path, you're going into another direction, and that's not going to be God's fault. That's going to be your fault because you derailed from your path. And that's the assignment of the enemy. The enemy is here to kill, steal, and destroy. In that, it's also taking you off your path through those processes, whether it's kill, steal, or destroy. If a train gets off the track, that train is destroyed. It's going to mess up the alignment. It's going to take it off of where it needs to go. It's going to derail to the side.
In half a mile, turn right to stay on North Carolina 903 South.
It's going to turn off the track. And then it's going to cause a collision or an explosion. depending on what the cause is and where it's going once it gets off the track. So don't let people's voices take you off track. And don't rush God's time.
Turn right to stay on North Carolina 903 South.
Yes, be quiet. It's like giving directions like every 5 minutes on a familiar road. But anyway, that might be a message right there too. That's probably what God be saying to us.
Continue on North Carolina 903 South for 8 miles.
When we try to rush God, and He already Mother, Father, He, She, Universe, Elohim, tells us, I'm going to do it for you. Just sit back and relax. And we constantly in there like this GPS, keep jumping in and saying stuff, and I'm trying to say something to you all out there. Along with micromanaging, say, oh, this is all falling in together because I can hear just words. Micromanage was the first word I heard. Then I heard distractions. Then I heard that description about the train track. So let's stay focused. And let's listen to what God is telling us. What is being said internally? What are we feeling? What are we seeing? What are we experiencing? The outside noise is not going to connect with the inside noise because the outside noise is not coming from you. It's coming from somebody else or something else. So let's not get sidetracked. Let's stay focused. And let's be considerate, because if there's things that we don't like to be done to us, let's not do it to others. Because at some point it's going to come around to you. And then you're going to understand. But by that time, the person that you're agitating is already over it. But that's unnecessary emotions that's not needed. So if we can just learn to stay focused and pay attention. Focus. That's just pointing out there. Focus. Stay focused so that we can do the will of Mother, Father, Universe, God, Elohim. So that we can do what we need to do. And as I'm talking, I'm being reminded of another conversation that I had. So this is me just flowing, asking God to use me to speak to His people, her people, Mother, Father, Elohim, Universe, so that whatever message needs to be heard is going to be reached out to those who need to hear it. So I send this message to those that need to hear the message, so that it's going to help them go in the direction that God has set forth for them to go. But I was listening to a post this morning, and they was talking about how a lot of people don't watch the news. And then they said that you need to pray, watch and pray. So I don't like watching the news, because every time I turn on the news, it's discouraging. There's always something negative, but there's always something negative in the world. So I don't really watch the news too much. I try to stay on and watch, because there's things on the news that you need to know about. You need to know what's going on in your area, so that way you know that you're not going into a trap because you're not paying attention to what's going on locally. But on that same note, I'm not saying engage into every channel and watch every news event out there, because you're feeding your body with what you see, with what you hear. All that is food for your body. Me coming and conversating with you guys over here over the internet, I'm giving out food for thought. It's food entering through your ear gates and through your eye gates. And whether you digest and receive it, that's up to you. But we do need to watch and pray. You can define watch and pray the best way that sits well for you. But we need to be aware of what's going on out here. And I had a conversation yesterday with my son and with another individual that I care about. And we were talking about how the solutions of what people think that we should do today to solve the situation that's going on. Everybody has solutions, and some people. One person that I spoke to said violence is what we need to do. They feel that we're afraid, so we're not acting because we're afraid. And another person I spoke to said violence is not always the answer. Something needs to be done, yes, but it doesn't necessarily have to be in violence. Why do people jump in front of you and slow down? Let me go back to the conversation. There is a solution that needs to take place. The question is, what type of solution? And when I intervened to what they had said to me, I had said that there is a solution. I believe that God has put people, angels, in place for such a time as this. And when there is a command to do something, that's when it's going to happen. But then I said, I can't explain it to people because they're not going to understand it. How do you get that to relate to somebody who wants to attack because they feel like we need to attack? And then how do I explain that to someone that says we need to do something about it, but it doesn't have to be violent? But then I'm saying, if you go ahead and attack right now, and the people that you have in office is still here, what is the outcome going to be for that? And then I'm reminded back to Sarah in the Bible, when she told her husband to sleep with her handmaid because she wanted a child. That was a choice that she made, not God. God later on came and told her, told her husband, and her husband went back and told her that they were going to have a child. But she took it in her own hands to tell her husband to sleep with another woman. Me personally, nah, we ain't doing that. And I can't even fight the man because the man could have thought that the woman was attractive and even thought about that. And the woman just gave permission for that to happen. But anyway, the outcome was that she ended up not wanting the child around or the handmaid. She kicked them to the curb. She had caused a man to go into another woman, give birth, and then kick that woman and her child out of the house. Well, run her out of the house. She left, and then the angel told her to go back. But anyway, and I'm talking about the handmaid. Don't have the names right now, but when it comes back to me, I'll bring it up. But if you don't know what I'm talking about, read the Bible. It's in, I think it's in Genesis. It's in the Old Testament. So one of the 3 books of the Bible. Read it. Google it. It'll give you the direct place to look at. But anyway, the point that I'm saying is, when you go ahead and pre-act and do what you feel is what we all should do, it might come out in a negative way. And if you want to sit here and retaliate with and I'm not political, so don't sit here and quote me. I'm just looking at it from my point of view. If you already have this person in office, or you have this type of rulement in office, what would be the outcome if you go ahead and charge? What I see is either options: somebody might go to jail or somebody might be unalived. Somebody said, well, the jail can't be, they're going to overpack the jails. So if they don't overpack the jails, then they might unalive. Either way, in this office, it's not going to run in the favor.
In half a mile, use the left 2 lanes to turn left onto US 13 South.
So, if somebody out there is looking for something to pray about what's going on in the world, asking that God soften the hearts of the enemy, for those that want to cause harm to people, because God's creation is beautiful.
At the light, use the left 2 lanes to turn left onto US 13 South.
That God created that turns bad. It's the spirit that's within the people. I can't see that light. I can't see it. Okay, it's red. It's the light. The light. It's the spirits that people allow to overtake them. And this brings me back to another conversation I had with my son. And we was talking about a movie we had seen together. And I was letting him know how the enemy enters people, how people give permission for the enemy to come in, or how people tend to be at a low vibration or even a high vibration. And he was like, well, before I started explaining with a low vibration, but you can be so prideful, so conceited, so selfless. What's the word I'm looking for? You can be so much about thinking about you and trying to get to the top by stepping on other people's heads, or getting to the top by sleeping around, or getting to the top by doing something negative. And that is also a way that the enemy can come into.
Continue on US 13 South for 1.5 miles.
You make yourself a target by being so low to where you're depressed and you want to give up on the life that God has blessed you with, or you can be so boastful and only think about yourself and only want what you want for you and don't care about nobody else in the process. So it's not necessarily just one way that the enemy can tag you or to try to get involved into that individual. I feel like I'm going all over the place, so I hope that I'm connecting to individuals out there. But and I have a habit of trying to narrate what comes out my mouth to try to make it make sense. But if it comes out, it may make sense to whoever's listening. So I'm gonna stop doing that, because I said I want to flow. So whatever God gives me to speak on, I'm gonna let it go, and I'm gonna speak on it. But and I hope I'm not saying anything that's offensive. But what I was saying is that God's creation is not what's bad. It's the spirits that jump into these individuals that make that person bad. Because I always tell people, God don't make no junk. It's the intake of the junk that makes the person. And that goes back to when I say, spirits can enter through what you see, what you hear, what you say, how low you are, how high you are, depending on how not true to love as possible. And to me, love is like a guard or a scale to where you can, sorry, there was something up there. It's like a scale so that you can kind of level yourself off. If you need a point to see where you stand, use love. Because love can also be looked at different ways too, but you need to love yourself first. That's why I always say love yourself. Don't do something that's going to cause any harm for you. Don't give from an empty cup, because if you don't have a full cup to give, you're giving on empty. You got to still love yourself. You got to still protect yourself. You got to still keep your heart pure. Don't let the world taint who you are. Don't let these spirits jump in you and then cause you to lose your life. Because that was another point that was brought up. We watched a particular movie, and in this movie, it was an innocent bystander that got fooled by the enemy. And my son said, well, that's not that person's fault. It's not that person's fault that they got tricked. But you still need to love yourself enough to know that you have to, if God's given you an ability to do something to help others, you have to take care of you first. Now, sometimes that might be selfish. Some people might look at it that way. And I'm going to give you an example. A mother, a father. If you have children, you have to take care of yourself so that you can take care of your kids. Some people might look at
In a quarter mile, turn left onto North Carolina 33 East, North Green Street.
Sorry, I'm hearing the thing. But at some point, okay, you might have outsiders looking in. This goes back to those voices of people telling you, well, why are you doing that? I mean, you need to provide for your children. Okay, yeah. Okay, let me give you another example. For those who give their kids up for adoption because...
At the light, turn left onto North Carolina 33 East, North Green Street.
Stopping because the thing is going on. I don't know if y'all can hear it or not, the GPS. But, what was I saying? Okay, a parent can give up a child because they may be going through some type of hardship, or they had a child at a very young age. some type of addiction. They can't afford
Head south on US 13 South.
So
Continue on US 13 South for half a mile.
So I keep getting distracted by this thing, but you have to give your child for some type of reason, because what you can't provide.
In a quarter mile, turn left onto West Belvoir Road.
That GPS is getting on my nerves, y'all. I'm gonna digress. Woosah. All right, I'm going a different route, so it's gonna keep popping me to go in a different way. But anyway, what was I trying to say? Oh yeah.
At the light, turn left onto West Belvoir Road.
A parent could give up their child because they can't provide for that child. And in mind, they're trying to provide the best life.
In 800 feet, turn right onto North Carolina 33 East, North Green Street. Head southwest on US 13 South. Continue on US 13 South for half a mile.
I don't know how much, I don't know this video will get posted, but anyway, the child could be,
in a quarter mile, turn left onto Airport Road.
Hold on, I don't know if I can touch it while I'm driving. So, all right, so, what I'm gonna say, okay. So the child may not understand why the parent gave the child away, but the parent did it with good intentions because the parent couldn't provide for that child. They was going through some things. They let the enemy take over them, but they didn't want the enemy to take
At the light, turn left onto Airport Road.
So, I lost the point of where I was going, all this stuff, but basically, keep your heart pure. Don't let the world make you evil. Be aware of who you are, so that way if something is not right about you, you will feel it, you will know it. And
in a quarter mile, turn right onto North Green Street.
Look at what I got so far.
Head south on US 13 South, South Memorial Drive. Continue on US 13 South for 1.5 miles.
Excuse me. So, I hope I said something that was helpful. I hope that this reached who it needs to reach. And if I triggered you, I hope I trigger you for the better, for you to look inside yourself and do what you need to do. But I don't know if I answered the question when I said if somebody's looking for something to pray about. Pray that God softens the heart of these people in this world so that we can live the life that we need to live. Not saying changing whatever the plan God has, but allowing those that are here to be able to have that peace to continue on to go and not pre-act and do something that is not in the will of what God has already put in place. So, I love you. God loves you. You love you. Forgive yourself and others. It's for you. Until next time, have a wonderful day. Peace.